Lord, I know I said I make videos about what I like. God damn it, here I go complaining again. So when I was doing my video on Phantom of the Opera, I decided to pick up a K-drama to watch in the meantime, which I usually do about twice a year, and that for the most part being just to giggle, have fun, and indulge in picture-perfect men doing picture-perfect things that don't fucking exist. Cause that is the whole reason why these shits exist. And I usually like to pick up the older, early 2000 ones because the second I see social media involved, I'm clicking the fuck out. I don't give a fuck about your fake Instagram story or fake Snapchat, bro. That's not drama for me. I'm sorry.
Friday, happy Friday. Good morning, Ginny. Welcome to Friday.
I want this motherfucker parked outside of my fucking house, begging on his hands and knees. I don't want that. And so the last drama I decided to pick up was Scent of a Woman. That shit was pretty fucking good. So I looked around to find more older K-dramas, and this one is easily considered one of the best early 2000s K-dramas. So I eventually gave it a shot, and it turned out to be really fucking funny, really well scripted, and not too cheesy like most K-dramas fall into the tropes of doing. Like most fall victims to early 2000s tropes that still live on to this day. I promise you, if I turn on a K-drama and I see like miscommunication, we get into a car crash, I have cancer, I don't fucking know. And you know, everything was cool until this motherfucker popped up. Like, I genuinely, with all of the hate in my heart, know that he is the absolute worst male lead in K-drama history, and I am here to display my facts, my evidence, and my conclusion to you guys, because I could not genuinely fucking believe they put this man on the screen. I'm supposed to like him? In what fucking sense? Where's my fucking gavel? Dunk dunk.
Gavel, gavel, gavel.
Where's my fucking gavel? The drama in question here today is called My Name is Kim Samsoon. My Name is Kim Samsoon is based on the book by jinhyun of the same name, and it so follows the outlines, more so the skeleton, of Bridget Jones' Diary. The key point similarities here being a 30-year-old woman struggling in the dating world, and said woman is seen overweight through the lens of peak slimy 2000s diets and fatphobic culture, while she also struggles to reinvent herself into the woman she longs to be, or more so the woman society expects her to be at this age. She, likewise, just as Bridget, gets involved sexually with her absolute asshole of a boss, while she's also being seen as someone who is not rich. Meanwhile, she lives in the middle of a city in a first world country. I don't know, bro. Meanwhile, the majority is like high schoolers, and And this was seen as an absolute breath of fresh air to women at the time watching TV, having a 30-year-old single, chubby woman being portrayed on screen, along with her being frank, direct, flawed, and yet so lovable. My Name is Kim Samsoon aired in July 2005 and was an absolute huge hit, therefore cementing itself as being one of the most highly ranked K-dramas of all time. Here, our main character is called Kim Samsoon. Samsoon being her first name, and Samsoon literally mean Sam as in 3 in Korean, and Soon meaning meek or feminine. Therefore, it's an absolutely outdated name by just literally meaning like daughter. Direct translation would be like third daughter. It's an absolutely old-fashioned name, but if you still don't like quite get it, like think of an equivalent being like Beatrice or Gertrude, and it's like, oh my. They still make that name? The plot synopsis being guy and girl meet each other, but they fucking hate each other until they have to form a love contract to deceive the rich guy's grandmother. So she ultimately gets off of his back about dating and marrying someone, but they cannot actually fall in love as it states in the contract. While all of this is happening, the guy's ex-girlfriend that abandoned him comes back into town. To some, this might seem like a weird plot, but in K-drama, this is standard. Love contracts, bruh, this is standard. Our main characters being Kim Samsoon, 30 years old, living with her family, unemployed, but with a degree and passion for sweet making. Direct, brash, hot-tempered, but yet so very caring and attentive. She is very goal-driven, with a backbone that we see develop throughout the series. But at the end of the day, she is still human and falls to her faults at times. Our skeleton of a love interest here is called Jinhyun. He's 27. His grandma wants him to get married ASAP so he can take over the hotel business. He is the owner of the restaurant that Kim Samsoon will be working at. He is stubborn, arrogant. He only cares about how he feels and when he feels it, and he will drop you whenever he feels like it. He practically wants everything for himself. He's absolutely manipulative and does not care about how he makes people feel. And he's the one whose ex-girlfriend is going to be popping back into the picture. We have Heejin, the ex. She just packed her shit one day, left the relationship out of the blue, and has not contacted him for 3 years. Not a single phone call, message, or pigeon with a message, until one day she just decides to come back. She is a very well-mannered girl. She's always putting a smile on her face. And basically everything I've said about him, she's kind of the same person in a sense, as she also wants 2 love interests in her life at the same time. She tries to pick up the relationship exactly where she left off, and she's quite avoidant, being that she never contacted him for 3 years. And we also have her other love interest, Henry. He's from the United States and is well acquainted with Heejin, leading to tension with him and Jinhyun. He is an absolute fucking sweetheart. He is a hopeless romantic, tall, dreamy, kind. He's good at conversations. He's really nice. Hi, Henry. Hi. So this is where we start. Right on the evening of Christmas Eve, our main character Samsoon discovers her boyfriend cheating on her in a hotel room with an estranged woman. In Samsoon's head, she ideally confronts him with no mercy and is confronting him all fired up with self-assurance as a strong and secure woman that doesn't take his excuses anymore. Although be it in a hitman fashion.
누구세요?
But unfortunately, she is ultimately crumbling to the reality of a complete opposite of what she's wasted her time imagining herself to be. And while wimping away out of the confrontation, she is caught midway by her ex who is cheating on her. Why is he cheating on her? Well, during the entire run of this series, it will try its absolute best to convince you that this woman is overweight, she is old, and on the cusp of her prime. Meanwhile, she's only 30. She just started thinking cognitively like 5 years ago fully. And she's quite direct and brash. Especially, she is unfiltered when it comes to expressing how she feels emotionally. Which is like, oh, these are all bad qualities to have in a woman. You have to be dainty and cute and nice. This taking place in 2000s peak diet and slim culture, where there was only one ideal type of conventionally attractive women that absolutely dominated the forefront of all of it. And we also have to acknowledge the cultural differences here when it comes to body image. But god motherfucking damn. Samsoon has a discussion with her ex in the dinner area of the hotel. Meanwhile, our future love interest, the bar is in fucking hell if he's a love interest, bruh. We have mega rich boy Jinhyun, who also happens to be dining in their presence at the same hotel, as he overhears their altercation boil over into more disturbance. While Jinhyun is on a blind date set up for him by his grandmother, he cannot seem to take this date seriously for the life of him, and very so deserves the fucking water that gets splashed in his face. Cut back to Samsoon's ex breaking up with her, and then leading her to contemplate suicide so she can haunt him for the rest of his miserable life.
기억 속에서 잊혀지는 건 견딜 수가 없어. 사랑해, 현우 씨. 이럴 줄 알았지? 내 눈을 똑똑히 봐. 이 눈으로 평생 널 따라다닐 거야. 밤이면 밤마다 네 꿈에 나타나 괴롭힐 거야. 바람난 너 때문에 내가 얼마나 울었는 줄 알아?
It is so fucking funny. But Samsoon snaps back into reality once more, where she ends up dashing away from him and crying in the bathroom. Unbeknownst to her, she has mistakenly ended up in the men's bathroom amidst her hysteria. Here is where our couple is romantically acquainted for the first time, along with him accusing her of being a pervert because she's in the men's bathroom, and saying that all men are the same because they're all fucking stupid when he sees that she's crying over her ex. Love is in the air, people. Or maybe it's the air freshener. Forwarding to our next event where Samsoon is struggling to find a job, she goes for a pâtissier interview at the restaurant, only to run into Jinhyun again, and gets her hair tangled up in his blazer buttons when trying to peep into the kitchen. He tells her to shut up. Guys, I don't like this. And then forcefully decides to cut her hair off to set them free from their entanglement, after she more than loudly protests the entire time like, hey, don't fucking do that. We can figure this out. Don't fucking do that. And here's where you can actually see the selfishness creep out. Samsoon then retaliates by throwing one of her cakes that she made for the interview in Jinhyun's face to even it out.
Oh my god!
A very clear example of her being direct here. But then he starts smacking on that shit. He's like, this shit's so delicious. Who made this? And he hunts her down. After locating her, Jinhyun proceeds to call Samsoon old. Wow. Wow, how romantic, guys. And offers her a job after she finds out he's the owner of the restaurant. They go over her resume, just for him to call her old again. Then his restaurant team samples her confectionery creations, and she does exceptional at her work, but she only agrees to work there if she gets to be called Kim Hee-jin. That sounds familiar. Which is the exact same name of Jinhyun's ex. She explains the change in name because her real name is too embarrassing for her to handle anymore, and Jinhyun ever so reluctantly agrees to it. Samsoon then is introduced to the crew and the ways of the restaurant, where we learn about the numerous women that fawn over the owner. Wow, guys, he's such a catch. Rolling around to the greeting party for Samsoon, she decides to present them with a dance to show off her personality. And here, that personality just being hot and horny for Jinhyun. And of course, reality sets in where she just does a 1-2 tap dance. And then she gets booed off stage by her co-workers for not having enough sex appeal. I don't think any co-workers are supposed to have sex appeal, guys. I think that's the whole point of like working together. I don't think I'm supposed to get off on you. Samsoon then later goes on a blind date with honestly the only decent man in this show's universe, and she is geeked the fuck up. But just on the other side of the room, in the very same hotel we started in, Jinhyun is also on another blind date where he just lashes out at his company right in front of him about how much surgery she's had and oh my god, look at your boobs.
어디 손댔어요?
네가 뭔데 말려 씨발.
네?
눈? 코? 턱? 가슴 확대는 안 해도 되겠네요. 난 작은 가슴을 좋아하거든요.
Just because he doesn't want to be there, he's going to make fun of somebody's appearance just because he doesn't want to be there. This is a 27-year-old man with free will, by the way. In case any of you forgot, this is a 27-year-old man with free will, by the way. Meanwhile, his date in front of him is just genuinely trying to get to know him as a person, being like, so, what do you do for work? Your boobs, then you know that's fucked up. You did too much surgery. As we ping-pong back to the other side of the room, Samsoon is having a genuine connection with practically her ideal man standing right in front of her. Then Jinhyun decides, as your boss, I have to ruin your fucking date. Which I know, on the surface level, when you don't know the rest of the fuck shit that he's done, you can be like, oh no, that's not what they're trying to do. Some people are attracted to this, where it's like they're being an asshole because they don't know how to convey their feelings for you. I'm being mean because I don't want to see you around other men and it makes me feel bad, but I don't know if I like you yet. But you can see this man just does it because he can. simply because he can. And it's never been so evidently shown because of all the fuck shit that he is going to pull later on. Jinhyun approaches their table and calls Samsoon by her old-fashioned real name in front of her date and then lies, claiming to be her boyfriend. They must immediately rush over to his grandmother for their approval on dating. Samsoon does not stand for this shit and she absolutely chews him out, which if you've watched K-drama in your life ever, I don't really know about the new ones, what they do now, but for more of the older ones, if you've watched any of them, you know that this is an absolute breath of fresh fucking crispy air. And then karma sets in as Jinhyun gets smacked the fuck up by his date.
And my head hit the wall. Boom. But I had a praying grandmother.
Then smacked the fuck up by Samsoon. While she's on the absolute brink of tears by how brought aback she is by his lack of humanity and quits right in front of him. Yay, sensible main character, yay! After getting smacked, he still finds the absolute audacity to follow her around like a fucking puppy for the rest of the fucking day, while half-assedly trying to reel her back into working with him, but then also teasing her about being like, how could you dress up like this for a date? Like, do you know how flirtatious you were being? Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. This woman gets a coffee. She rides up a cable car. She comes down the cable car. She goes to the arcade. She goes to karaoke. Sorry, norebang. She goes for a meal. She gets drunk. All the while, this man is right behind her, still tailing along. Stubborn is an understatement. The end of the night rolls along and Samsoon realizes she does not have cash on her and makes a drunken trip to the ATM while almost getting hit by a car. And we see here probably one of the few romantic moments they had, and it's her almost fucking dying. Then he carries her to his home, where the next morning arises. Jinhyun's grandmother barges into the apartment at dawn, smacks him, where she is introduced to Samsoon searching for anything to cover herself while she is in his bed in a disheveled and shameful manner. Then Samsoon falsely admits like, yeah, I'm dating your grandson, as revenge for what he did earlier when he crashed her date. Then they go to eat where he asks her about her dating life and then asks if they should date. And this is the start of them forming a contract between one another because one, it gets his grandma off his back about marriage, and two, it is also foolproof because he could never see them dating IRL for real. And he specifically says that he would not go for a woman like Samsoon. Thank you, bruh. Samsoon is initially opposed to the dating contract, reasonably so. They bicker about it because he cannot fathom not having things his way. Then Jinhyun bravely acts like Samsoon said yes to the dating contract. And is constantly putting the contract in motion. Then he fucking takes her seat on the bus because he didn't want to ride the bus. Then don't fucking ride the bus. You're a grown-ass man. I'm supposed to fall in love with him? I'm supposed to fall in love with him. Samsoon still denies Jinhyun because she doesn't want to waste her time in a fake relationship. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking for her in the dating realm. Then Jinhyun tells the entire restaurant staff that she's late because she spent the night at his house. What a slag. So romance, guys. It's so romance. Then the cherry on the top is like, oh, then the staff complains about how old Samsoon is.
아니 홀식구대 다 나왔는데 이게 뭐예요? 나도 제일 많은 사람이 조심해야지 창피하게.
Meanwhile, there are other people in this restaurant working that are older than her. I know this woman is not 30 years old. Like, I know age is extremely culturally significant in South Korea. From the honorifics you use to the role that is placed upon you in society based on your age. But god motherfucking damn, you guys are just being mean. Samsoon's family gets the news about their house being taken away because of her late father's debt that he did not pay, and Samsoon wallows in the memories of how much her and her father cherished her name that she's despised all of her life. Samsoon, with no way out, now accepts the dating deal now that she's in dire need of money. And Jinhyun gives her the money straight away, no questions asked. That's fucking hot. Sorry guys, I forgot I'm supposed to be complaining about him. Then he does the absolute predictable K-drama, I'm taking you by the wrist and I'm not telling you where I'm going while you complain the whole fucking time, as he announces to everyone in the restaurant that they are dating. He then rushes Samsoon over to his grandma's, where she only gets chewed out for her age, again, even though she's only 3 fucking years older than him, then gets called Pua by his grandmother, and a slut.
그만큼 진한 씨를 사랑합니다.
After that, they somehow get into an argument again. After going back and forth, this will be a major theme, they decide to set down some boundaries and conditions to the fake dating contract. No unnecessary skin-to-skin contact, no actual dating each other, no dating anyone else, no asking repeated questions just because Jinhyun doesn't like it, to respect each other, and you know he's not going to follow that fucking rule. Then after laying down the boundaries of this contract, Jinhyun sneaks in a sly comment about Samsoon, that being,
어느 남자가 댁 같은 여자를 안고 싶어 하겠어요.
I told you he wasn't gonna respect that respect rule. Heejin, Jinhyun's ex, enters the restaurant in search for him but goes back empty-handed. After Heejin's departure, Jinhyun returns to his restaurant later and Samsoon decides to tell him about Heejin's arrival at the restaurant, if she's his ex, since they mentioned it so much at his family's house earlier, to which he doesn't reply, and instead shouts at her for asking the question twice. Abuse of rules! Samsoon retaliates by stating that just because he's paying her money does not mean she gets to be treated like this. Then he fucking punches the frame right behind her, and at this point, all of the petals drop from the rose-colored glasses we wear about him. That it was just him teasing her the entire time, but this is where it starts to take a turn. This unstable and immature man is making the air so abusive. Then just to get whiplash, Jinhyun brings Samsoon flowers for their 100-day anniversary to make their relationship seem more real to everyone. Though all the women here are actively avoiding Samsoon since they're so jealous of her dating Jinhyun. Wow, thanks for bragging about our anniversary in front of everyone. Now the girls won't hate me anymore, right? Heejin, the ex, pops up in Jinhyun's restaurant once more in order to find him. Him and her talk, but not surprisingly, Jinhyun is absolutely pissed that Heejin just kind of pops back into his life after 3 cold years of moving away to the States and not contacting him. Heejin attempts to defend herself by explaining she didn't have a choice and was too scared to call him. Jinhyun gets up and leaves, but then not too shortly after, he drinks his sorrows away and passes out. Upon finding Jinhyun passed out, Samsoon takes the piss-drunk boy to his apartment, lays him on the bed, but while undressing him, damn, she's a sniffer, he ends up cuddling her unconsciously, and she's like, fuck it, I guess I have to stay now. Now alluding to the solid fact that she indeed does like him. The next morning, Samsoon wakes up to make him breakfast, just for him to fucking complain about it. It's not cute, I don't like this shit. Jinhyun's ex Heejin pulls up once again, now to his apartment. In this early 2000s nightclub, metallic, full-on glam at 7 in the fucking morning. She barges inside the apartment, only to her dismay discovers Samsoon to be there. Samsoon tries to ease the situation by leaving, but Jinhyun selfishly pulls her back in this situation, while out of pure fucking spite, decides to break the news to Heejin that Samsoon is his girlfriend. Then we get this iconic theme song.
할 얘기 있으면 같이 있을 때 여자친구 몰래 딴 여자랑 수군대기 싫어.
Jinhyun now tells Heejin to leave, resulting in Samsoon getting fired up about how cruel he's been to be letting her out like that, although she does not understand the full situation of their relationship, just like we as the audience don't. Enraged, Samsoon decides to impulsively break the contract with Jinhyun because he exploited her for a personal relationship problem that she does not want to be involved in. As she continues to reprimand him at work later on, Heejin pulls up to talk to Samsoon, and Samsoon tells Heejin that she loves Jinhyun after just breaking the contract this morning, further confirming her feelings for Jinhyun. Heejin states to Samsoon Jinhyun never actually broke up and she's still holding on to them being together. We can see this clearly by them both having each other's like cute coupley contact names on their phones, and she still has him as her wallpaper. Samsoon derails that by putting her straight about things and tells Heejin that she cannot just up and leave and come back like everything's fine without taking everything into consideration. Then, while departing for her meeting, Heejin just fucking thinks about running Samsoon over. Heejin, now more desperate than ever to reconnect with Jinhyun, breaks into his fucking apartment to talk, of course. She obviously asks about Samsoon, while Jinhyun accuses Heejin of having another man while she was in the States. Jinhyun now has a fit and expresses to her about how she abruptly left a week before his car accident, and yet he still yearned for her, and even so searched up her name in every US university, and yet no results, since it was rumored she was going there for school. Yet Heejin still cannot find the nerve to tell him the real reason why she left, but can only express how very sorry she is to him. Jinhyun tells Heejin she disgusts him. Henry pulls up in front of Heejin's house after the altercation, and Jinhyun, who followed her, sees her getting kissed on the forehead by Henry, and now basically confirming his biggest fear of her finding another man. No, guys, it's just a misunderstanding, guys. We do not understand what's going on. What's right in front of us, it's a misunderstanding. Or is it? On the other side of things, Samsoon X pops up and tells her she's just so fucking pretty. And like, why won't you answer my calls, babe? He just wants what he can't have. And he does all of this the day before his engagement party to another woman, but he is still dead set on getting Samsoon, and he says he's still dead set on getting engaged, but he still wants her, and that it's not really having an affair with another woman because it's out of love, bro. Guys, it's not cheating if I love the other woman. Guys, it's not cheating if I love her. And tries to claim Samsoon back, but then gets beat the fuck up. Samsoon is now forced to make the cake for her ex's engagement party, since he fucking decided to have the engagement party at the very restaurant she works at. As sour Samsoon dreams about spiking the cake with horrendous spicy peppers, she just backs out of the idea and ultimately sucks it up and does her job. I don't even know if you can call this a fucking cake. And what the fuck is an engagement party? We have bridal showers, bachelor parties. We have the day of the big wedding and a honeymoon and baby showers. Where is all this money coming from? Jinhyun catches Samsoon crying about her ex in the corner and tries to comfort her, then proceeds to put on this flimsy white knight armor and intimidates Samsoon's ex for making her cry, and then trying to split them apart. At night, the couple share a moment on the piano at the restaurant after closing hours, and he teaches her how to play the piano for a bit. They share life stories, struggles, life advice, and vulnerable feelings over some sweet cake and brandy, and it's genuinely such a cute moment. Guys, I should scrap this video, is what I would say if I was a fucking dumbass. As the night falls darker and darker, Samsoon heads home, but then trips and Jinhyun catches her. Then as she realizes the situation she's in, she tries to wiggle away from his grip as he only holds on tighter and tighter. Then his face slowly etches closer and he pulls the line, "Why aren't you closing your eyes today?"
오늘은 왜 눈 안 감아요?
They share a drunken kiss, then she ultimately pushes him away as the realization of the situation sets in more clearly, and she dashes away in the rain-ridden nighttime. Tensions rise between Samsoon and Jinhyun after last night's kiss. clearly showing that they both have feelings for one another. He calls her into his office to apologize for last night, and yet another bicker unfolds. From all the tension, I guess, and he asks her if she likes him, and they bring up where the contract states that they cannot date one another. Back on the other side, Heejin sees a hotel opening in Jeju that is connected with Jinhyun's family-owned hotel company, and she decides to prolong her stay in Jeju in order to meet with him. Upon the day of the hotel opening, Samsoon and Jinhyun run into her ex and his fiancé. Goofy ass fucking outro. This shit's supposed to be like tense, like oh my god, and then we get
삼순이한테 내가 천남자야.
Samsoon X tells her that she'll never be accepted into the rich people's social circle. He attempts to make her insecure as he also says that she should come back to him. Then once again attempts to give her a gift when Jinhyun swoops in mid-conversation and ever so politely discards of the gift, causing her ex's temper to boil and gets physical with Jinhyun, only for the goofy ass outro music to come in again. Her ex then brags about being Samsoon's first man, then Jinhyun throws him back into the water. Clearly showing some sort of affectionate passion towards Samsoon, whether he denies it or not. Cut to Jinhyun drying up as he gets mad that Samsoon is cheating on him by running into her ex. You brought her here? Did you not know who else was gonna be here?
자꾸 저 자식 만나고 있잖아요.
만나다뇨. 이게 일부러 만난 거예요? 여기 데려온 게 누군데?
Yeah, I agree, Samsoon. I agree. Samsoon's backbone comes in to say that you're the one that brought me here. And didn't you try and use me to meddle in your personal affairs? Valid fucking point. And he pulls the line of, only listen to me and don't talk to other men.
듣지 마. 말도 하지 말고 듣지도 마. 내 말만 들어. 나한테만 귀 기울이라고.
Which, this is the type of stuff I usually expect from K-dramas. You know, some of us live for this toxic back and forth. I would eat this shit up if he wasn't a genuine asshole. Samsoon can clearly fucking see that he likes her at this point and is just chatting. And then there's this cute intimate moment of her cleaning up his wounds, showing that she is affectionate and caring. Samsoon asks if Jinhyun meant it when he said that she mustn't talk to other men, also including how he hates it when she simply listens to other men. Sensing all of this romance, she mentions how the contract forbids them dating. So he brings out the bat, only to knock all of the fucking romance out of this fucking park by saying,
누가 당신이 좋아졌대?
what makes you think I like you, bruh? Hold me back. As he kind of teases the loophole in their track, saying that he can say these things, but it doesn't mean he likes her, because it's not directly violating the contract's few rules. He becomes absolutely unredeemable here. As Samsoon reasonably so gets fired up about him spewing these words, he proceeds to force her to let him lay down on her tummy. As colleagues, I guess. While emotionally opening up about his traumatic events and the guilt he bears after recklessly driving and resulting in the killing of his brother, sister-in-law, and family friend in a car accident, while he weeps away for them on her warm and soft lap while she instinctively comforts him. As colleagues, I guess. Continuing the trauma bond, he goes on about how Heejin left him like he was nothing, and Samsoon added that he makes it very obvious that he still loves Heejin, considering he's never dated anyone since her leaving him. He also brings out Mount Hala, which has a lot of emotional significance to him, about how he would go up the mountain with his beloved brother, and even after his car crash with a recovering leg, he went up Mount Hala on impulse as rehabilitation to come back stronger for Heejin. To continue this along and string Samsoon along even further, he tells Samsoon that he wants to go up Mount Hala with her, just like he did with all the other significant people in his life. But he never fails to crush the moment, then tells her yet again, I don't like you. I don't like you. Can you just shut the fuck up then? If you don't mean what you say, can you just shut the fuck up then? After that fucking whiplash. They try to go out to eat, but Samsun changes her mind because of her feelings for him, and she doesn't want them to escalate any further, so she desires to depart immediately. And you know they just have to bump in to Heejun and Henry, and the tension here is an understatement. This is like some shit you see in like National Geographic or some shit, like the prides of lions interacting with each other. It's like, oh my god. Jinhyun takes Samsun away while Heejun tries to chase him down to get a conversation out of him. Then Samsun slams down the "as your girlfriend" card. I mean, remember, this is a fake contract and she has to make this seem real in front of people. She says, "As your girlfriend, I do not want you looking at other women, talking to other women, etc." Being the same exact thing that he said to her earlier. And Jinhyun just fucking stands there frozen. Motherfucker. He stands there not taking a side, only for Henry to break up Heejun's grip on him loose, then take her away, cause girl, this is too fucking embarrassing. Do you not feel embarrassment? Your side man had to take you away. No. Jinhyun and Samsun ride to the airport, but abruptly mid-ride, Jinhyun stops the cab to follow his heart and hunts Heejun back down. Samsun, confused and distraught, tries to turn things around by confessing her feelings to him with love in her eyes. Nah, because you know at the end of the day he's just gonna do what the fuck he wants. Beaten down, Samsun then mopes around the island with her shoes off. Stand up! Stand up! While Jinhyun frantically scurries in hopes to hunt down Heejun, because in his fucking head he's like, oh my god, this is like fate making us come together again, and that he just can't let this go. Jinhyun locates Heejun and confronts her about Henry, because he's totally convinced she left him for Henry. I mean, you can't blame her. And I mean, you can't blame him for thinking that. She let him kiss her. She let him kiss her. And even as the audience, we are introduced to him in a very romantic manner. As he films himself in the US while she just arrived in Korea, he films himself just doing shit and being like, Heejun, I love you. I love you. And then I'm like, oh, that's this girl's boyfriend. No. Saying that he loves you and like, kiss me through this video type shit. Cutting back to Heejun getting riled up about Jinhyun having a girlfriend now, so things are finally over between them. As Jinhyun edges forward towards Heejun, only for Henry to break the situation by grabbing Jinhyun and telling him to calm down, bro. Calm down, bro.
You need to calm down.
Right before Henry decides to pull off the curtain and reveals that he is Heejun's doctor and that she is very sick. That's your doctor? Y'all kissing as colleagues? You're just like this man. You like to kiss people as colleagues. I get it now. And it's like, even if you are her doctor, letting this man hold you in his fucking arms while you're crying about another man, I don't care if she's rejected him. This is clearly not a solely professional relationship. She's very much like Jinhyun now, where she keeps him around just to have him when Jinhyun doesn't want her. Reverse the roles. You see it now? But also keeping around another person and claiming you don't like him.
Don't look at me like that. You know you're gorgeous. 너한테는 가슴이 안 두근거린다? No, I don't feel anything when I'm with you.
You don't even make my heart race. They're the same person. Cutting back, Henry's begging Jinhyun to calm down so it doesn't upset Heejun any further. Only for Henry to reveal that Heejun has stomach cancer. Obviously sending her furthermore into a fucking spiral. Thanks. Empathy 1,000. They'll be like, oh my god, bro, don't stress her out. By the way, she has stomach cancer, so you shouldn't be stressing her out. Only for Jinhyun to question if she indeed does have cancer, and she painfully confirms the truth to him. Then he slaps her. He slaps her for having cancer. He slaps her for having cancer. I don't know how you guys defend this man after this point. That's not possible. It's not possible. I do not care what cultural significance you're going to give me, what time period shit you're going to give me. Unacceptable. You should not be laying your hands on people because you do not know how to handle your emotions. It's only fine when people do it to him. I don't want him doing it to other people because he's a fucking ass. Okay, people are allowed to hit him. Then he proceeds to shout at her for not telling him sooner about the cancer. And she's like, how could I tell you when it happened right after your car accident years ago? Samsoon returns to the hotel via a pig truck and waits for Jinhyun in the lobby with Henry, truly putting her love to the test here with how much she's going through, while Jinhyun and Heejin are getting all kissily kaboody in another room, as she tells him about her cancer journey, which makes him succumb further into his pity for her. Samsoon leaves the lobby and later goes to the airport alone, but right before boarding her flight, this time she calls Jinhyun to leave a message, bearing her heart out to him about her tragic relationship with her late father, in return for him opening up about his trauma on her lap earlier. She explains to him about how she couldn't show up for her dad's burial, and the last time she was with her dad, she lost her temper with him being old-fashioned and absolutely regrets not being appreciative enough in her last moments with her father. As she looks outside the window while talking to a vision of her father about why does love have to be so hard. Then we cut to this fuck-ass music. Men will literally lay on your lap, talk about their family trauma, say they don't like you, and then go back to their ex-girlfriend as soon as they pop up. Returning to our familiar surroundings at work, Samsoon struggles to focus as she's constantly checking her phone in hopes for some contact from Jinhyun, but alas, being endlessly disappointed from seeing her message desolate, except from a singular porn scammer. Then she tries to take her anger out on him through text, but retreats back to not sending anything. She gets a single line text from him that he's at the hospital and is busy. Samsoon, overthinking it, assumes that he must be sick and that's why he hasn't been at work. She asks him if she should come, if he's sick, why is he there, and he simply responds with, "No need." He's so communicative, guys. This is a love interest. We come to find out that he's at the hospital with Heejin, insisting that she needs a checkup after learning about her stomach cancer. Henry and Jinhyun are left to talk, where we can clearly see here how intimidated he is by him. And it's like, yeah, you should be. I bet he didn't slap her when he found out she had cancer. Where's the bar? Where's the bar? It's below the fucking floor. It's below hell. Where's the bar? Samsoon tells her sister how she misses Jinhyun, and she advises him he is not shit. He is not. Oh, thank God, a sensible person. That man is not shit. Team sister, team sister, team sister. She tells him that he isn't shit and she shouldn't bother. Only for Samsoon to absolutely disregard that information and waking up at the fucking butt crack of dawn to make some food for this man that she think is sick. Girl! She wakes up at the crack of dawn to make porridge for this man, and don't ask me how she got access to the restaurant's kitchen. I don't fucking know. As she proceeds to deliver Jinhyun some get-well-soon porridge, it comes to her surprise that there's more than Jinhyun at his place, as Samsoon discovers Heejin to be with him also. Samsoon leaves but shortly returns to light a fire under his arse about their contract stating they cannot see other people. It's like the same fucking thing when he sabotaged her date, saying like, I don't want you to see other people, but they weren't even in the contract yet. She rightfully so kicks him while demanding him to terminate their contract. Yet he still finds the fucking audacity. What's new? Guys, What's fucking new? He finds the audacity to trail her to the elevator and reveals he's starting things over with Heejin and will end the contract while adding that Samsoon does not need to pay the money back. While outside, Samsoon slaps Jinhyun for toying with her feelings back in Jeju. You cannot just lay your head on an employee's lap, open up about your trauma, tell her you want to do things with her. She adds that he toyed with her so much, especially with the line of wanting to take her up Mount Hala, that made her fall in love with him. And his response to all of this is like, bro, that's why I'm making you like not pay the money that you took from me, because I care about you. I care about you, bro. That's why you don't have to pay me back. Fucking audacious. And it's like shit like that is what makes you hate him. Not like, oh, he's in this really weird predicament where he can't decide his love for two people. He says shit like this. He says shit like this. And then continues to be like, no, bro. I meant it when I wanted to go up that mountain with you. As a colleague. You're my favorite colleague. That's why I want to take you up the mountain, where it's like the most significant people in my life. That's where like I think about them. I went up there with them. You're my most significant colleague.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
Don't men just want to have it all? And he still cannot find the ability to read the fucking room and decides to throw in a joke about how he only wants to bring her up there in case his leg hurts. In case his little leg hurts because he got into a car crash. She has had enough of his shit. And girl, me too. Me fucking too. But this is a K-drama. You simply cannot just up and leave the argument without getting into another collision with a driver. And yes, the goofy outro music plays right after this. Jinhyun rushes Samsoon to the hospital with Heejin. That's gonna be a beautiful sight when she wakes up. You are absolutely so considerate, Jinhyun. So considerate. That should be the first thing she sees when she wakes up. Samsoon's sister shows up, and while sitting beside her, Jinhyun now decides that this is the absolute perfect time to check his voicemails. He listens to Samsoon's numerous voice messages that she sent days ago, when you guys were on the other side of the fucking country. Samsoon awakens, and Jinhyun so courteously offers her to give her a ride home when they're outside. He offers her to give her a ride home in the same car with his girlfriend. How considerate, thoughtful, empathetic, loving. Like, there's nobody out here like that. He's really one of a kind. Samsoon ever so obviously declines, but no, Heejin insists that she should come. Girl, shut the fuck up. Samsoon barges off, but not without her sister physically attacking Jinhyun.
Finish him.
As she should. As Samsoon and her sister ride home, she puts the pieces together that Jinhyun has gotten over his fear of driving since the car crash, now that Heejin is back. Oh, call an ambulance cause that fucking hurt. As the night falls, Samsoon drowns herself in drink while a vision of her father visits her at the restaurant. While in a dire need of guidance, she ultimately breaks down crying from such an overwhelming time that it's been. And just to wrap up this tender moment, you know they're gonna play that goofy ass fucking song. Every fucking time. I know they had other songs in the sound library. I don't know why they keep playing this one. We go to Jinhyun's grandmother deciding to use Samsoon to keep Jinhyun and Heejin apart, since she doesn't want Heejin in her family since Heejin is sick from cancer. That's fucking brutal. So Samsoon gets invited to Jinhyun's brother's burial site to pay their annual respects. But after the ceremony, Samsoon hands her letter of resignation to Jinhyun and he rides away without her, leaving her to walk home. But then he's waiting for her right outside her bus stop. They're not so sweet. Like, he just raced off, but he waited for me right outside of my bus stop. He gives her flowers, but not for Samsoon as a woman, for Samsoon the patissier. He wants the patissier to come back to his restaurant and to continue to work at his restaurant. All the while, he tails her around the neighborhood. Jinhyun gets down on one knee to show how serious he is, and she accepts the flowers. As colleagues, I guess. Girl, I don't think that's how business proposals work. Jinhyun joyfully shreds up the letter of resignation, but Samsoon whips the, just because I took your flowers doesn't mean I accept the proposal. So they try to compromise for her return until Jinhyun can scout a new worker to hire as she teaches the sous chef in the meantime. And Lord, this sous chef cannot do shit. I don't know how she fucking got hired. Throughout all of this, Samsoon has to teach her how to sieve flour, how to melt chocolate, how to melt sugar and not let it burn. She grabs a hot fucking tray full of cookies without gloves and she burns her hands. She even gets confused while cutting cake. Girl, I get it if you're confused while making cake, but all you have to do is cut it. Like, how did you get this job? How did you get this job? Jinhyun recalls fond and cherished memories about Heejin and what they had together, while Samsoon cries about him drunkenly at home, causing her mother to get concerned for her. Samsoon gives her sous chef her guidebook to help her on her journey. And later, when the kitchen is desolate, Jinhyun thinks about Samsoon while pacing around the kitchen station and peeks through her guidebook on how to cook. While he is touched by how passionate she is about her work, he then cracks out his phone and tries to get Samsoon back by texting that he'll increase her pay by 10%. And he keeps raising the percentage with each pathetic text that she deletes over and over. He basically just wants everything, even when he clearly cannot fucking have it. Because that's how he's treating women here. Like, I want things at the same time. You know, women, living, breathing, human beings with opinions and thoughts and emotions. Samsoon finally discards his gifts in the rubbish to show that she's officially done with him. And after creeping around in the kitchen, Jinhyun now answers a call from Heejin, thinking that it was Samsoon, because that's all his mind has been clouded with. Then at night, he dreams about her soft toy being possessed by the spirit of Samsoon, while it just talks shit about how he lives. As he finds it practically impossible on many occasions to get rid of this pig, as a last resort, he decides to give the pig to an unattended little girl on the street. Police! Police! On the other hand, Samsoon undergoes a beauty makeover to feel like a new woman. And by 2000 standards, that just means straightening your hair. Oh my god, we gotta talk about that. I want to feel beautiful. Straighten your fucking hair. She straightens her hair and attempts to get a new look through makeup, but Samsoon, still being Samsoon, doesn't want to splurge. And then she uses the tester lip gloss on her fucking... Accompanying this transformation, Samsoon has finally put the gears in motion of changing her dreaded old-school birth name as a final step in becoming the woman she has so long desired to be. As Jinhyun is out on a date with his little niece and Heejin, while looking around, he cannot help but to buy a book that Samsoon has talked about.
Oh, he's stealing! He's stealing!
And later on in the date, talking about how hard it is to bring his niece to speech therapy, Jinhyun says it's okay now that you're here. Samsoon.
보통 일이 아닌데.
이제 삼순이 네가 있잖아.
Later on, Heejin brings up Samsoon and questions why she quit working at the restaurant, thinking it has to do something with her, while she also adds that she doesn't believe that Samsoon was faking what she said about being the only look at me, only listen to me as your girlfriend, now that she knows that they're not dating for real. Samsoon now goes on a blind date to revive her soon-to-be expiring dating life with the man of her dreams. I'm just fucking kidding. They'll never let her get it that fucking easily. Only for her to go on a shitty date where he constantly jabs at Samsoon for her weight along with her age by a clearly closeted gay man. And it's like, this is the one date Jinhyun doesn't want to interrupt. And you know Samsoon isn't gonna take any of the shit that he's saying to her, ultimately making her repulsed date leave. We now get a shred of hope for Samsoon as the cute dude from the previous blind date runs into her. Since this is the very same hotel they met in previously, they only have one goddamn motherfucking hotel in this universe, and it just has to be the one owned by Jinhyun's family. But also, her ex and his fiance decide to pull up to this hotel. They see Samsoon's date, and since neither of them have a decent bone in their fucking body, they decide to stir things up by slyly informing Jinhyun about Samsoon's charming companion. Back to Samsoon and her date, they're getting along really well, really genuinely and respectfully, and you can tell how much she likes this man because of how cute she giggles for him, like she changes her laugh.
머리가 참 잘 어울리시네요. 혹시 금순이가 해준 거 아니에요?
제가요 안 그래도.
Then he decides to come. As they're interrupted.
삼순아.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
Jinhyun's usual forceful tactics don't make Samsoon even budge this time. Oh, and you thought that was gonna stop him there? Nah-uh. He looks around to find a fault to point out, then says, "Why are you drinking coffee? That's not good for the baby." Ultimately embarrassing Samsoon out of her date entirely. And now he has her exactly where he fucking wants her. The fucking audacity to lead her on, open about your fucking trauma, and tell her don't look at other men, only for you to go back to your fucking ex, and then the second I want to go out and do what I fucking want, you come back in here and be like, "Nuh-uh. Decide what you fucking want and stop making it my problem." And it's not cute to do all of this bullshit just for you to go back to your fucking ex. Like meddling with Samsoon, embarrassing her multiple fucking times, just for you to run back to your ex. He just wants both of them at the exact same fucking time, and oh my god, I do not care. I do not care if this is supposed to be a realistic man, like not knowing what he wants. Shut the fuck up. Who watches a K-drama for a realistic man? We do the exact opposite. That is what you thrive off of K-dramas. Are they just supposed to be two realistic people? Because it's making my head hurt. Who watches K-dramas for realistic men? Let me ask the audience. He then pulls out another lie out of his ass by alerting Samsoon into coming back with him to the restaurant by saying her co-worker got caught in a fucking fire. That manipulating and conniving dictator! I can't believe he did that to you! Then Jinhyun wouldn't be himself without bending the situation to what he wants and what he needs by criticizing on why does Samsoon need to be looking this good when she can't be seeing other men due to her contract with him. And with the cherry on top being, he says that he still owes her the money if she doesn't comply to the contract. Samsoon storms out, but alas, the audacity is never ending with this fucking man. As he still manages to beg and talk to her, ultimately making Samsoon back out entirely from him. And now he goes into full lost puppy mode by following her everywhere, guys, and tries to interrupt her whenever he can. He does all of this instead of just admitting he was wrong. Then Samsoon dishes out about the housing situation she's in and how he exploited her for his own personal gain, then furthermore embarrassed her, and how he keeps chasing away the one man that genuinely wants to pursue her. But then he's like, "Aw, you're really cute, Samsoon," and that she should stop seeing other men. Jinhyun's response to Samsoon's emotional distraught is, "Girl, there's still other mans out there. Like the one I keep chasing away. There's still plenty of men. Go out there, girl. Fighting.
자기가 얼마나 매력 있는지 모르는 게 당신 매력이야.
This is the point where it's like, you cannot tell me in the beginning he was doing all of that, being mean to her because he liked her. You can tell in this drama, they try to build it in being like, no, he's fucking up because he likes you and he doesn't know how to handle it. But then he becomes her problem. Anything he does is going to affect her negatively. And it's like, you're 27, shut the fuck up, leave me alone. Literally, her whole life changes because of his bullshit, his behavior, his wants, and his fucking needs. I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking tired of this bullshit. During Jinhyun's confession, her ex decides to pop up. He hears about what Jinhyun did to Samsoon since he was standing there the entire time waiting for her. How romantic.
Pray, then I gotta get it out. I gotta pray.
She tells Jinhyun to leave and his ego clearly cannot take it. But his feet ultimately make him leave before he can find the fire in him to argue again. Amidst all of this, Samsoon is left with her ex and he attempts to make a move on her. And she fucking bites him. And she's had enough, bruh. You know how girls were like, oh, we gotta stop barking at guys? Biting's next, ladies. We can't be all bark, no bite, okay? After Jinhyun gets rejected, he then struggles to sleep peacefully at night, and while sitting in traffic, he envisions Samsoon on large billboards placed in front of him in place of other sexy women. Later, Jinhyun declines going back to Heejin's place, so he can try and lure Samsoon to his apartment at night by withholding her bike that she left behind when she collided with another biker. Because of him. And it's so funny here seeing her not pick up his fucking calls, just being like, oh, bye. Until he becomes creatively desperate and uses his landline, that being another number she cannot recognize, so her dumbass just picks it up and is like, oh, who could this be? Samsoon somehow agrees to come to his place and retrieve her bike back off his hands. At this hour of the night. And look how fucking excited his dumbass is riding her fucking bike around his apartment like a fucking clown that he is. She picks up the bike that he so secretly popped one of the tires off so she can't ride it back home. Therefore, has to rely on him to take her home. And in the car ride back home, he asks her what she did with her ex after he left. Audacious? What do you do with your ex after I leave, huh? What do you do with her, huh? Heejin calls Jinhyun on speakerphone during the ride, and Samsoon forces Jinhyun to answer it, otherwise he'll look suspicious, just for him to lie about what he's doing. More so, who he's with. Do we have to hold your hand every fucking step of the way of not fucking up a relationship? Do I have to specifically tell you to tell the truth? Why? Like, at that point, it's your instinct to fuck things up, and it's not my fucking responsibility. Then Heejin hears Samsoon scream due to Jinhyun not paying attention to the road and almost costing their fucking lives. He quickly hangs up, and Samsoon tells him he shouldn't be lying to his girlfriend in the first place. It's really cute at this point that she thinks he's gonna listen to her. Is really cute. Causing Jinhyun to get mad that he got caught, then so sensibly decides to kick Samsoon out of his car when he didn't even take her all the way home. She lectures him about the lying and how he's basically cheating on Heejin when he really was with another woman, which is her, and just how much he embarrasses her further. Thank you, bro. Thank you for making your problem everybody else's. And he's like, but that's why I didn't want to answer the phone, because I knew you guys would get mad. Why is everybody so mad at me? He said he didn't want to answer the phone in the first place to avoid all of this. Because you knew you were doing something wrong. You knew it. And you're fucking stupid. Samsoon questioned if he likes her because of how stupid he's acting. Well, more stupid than usual. With his response being, what kind of man would even want to hold Samsoon? Oh, okay, buddy. Okay. Samsoon then straightens him out. Like, why do you need to be hitting me up in the middle of the night if you don't like me? As he finally apologizes, but not without a fucking fat smirk on his face. He then kicks her bike down like a small fucking child. No amount of romance here on forth could ever redeem this motherfucker for me. He is way beyond the age of, I like you, and I don't know how to deal with it. You're 27. You have your own fucking apartment, you pay your own fucking bills, you have a job, and you... What? Not my problem. Samsoon is like, fuck it, just when I start to improve myself, this motherfucker decides to show up in my life again. And it's like, rightfully so. What the fuck? Jinhyun comes clean to Heejin about the call last night and she accepts his apology, but is obviously saddened about everything and won't show it to him. Cause it feels like here she doesn't even want to accept the fact herself. Jinhyun gets frustrated about Samsoon, asking if he likes her, then goes to her old working station to think about her even more, and then reads her baking notes. At night, outside Samsoon's house, her ex stalks her, and yet she still somehow decides to get into his fucking car. I know this motherfucker has drained you beyond mentally, but do not let him get your sensibility. Get out of that fucking car. Her ex drives her to the hotel. You know, the one hotel in the show's universe that's owned by Jinhyun's family. You know, the one hotel where shit is always going to go down, and you know shit's going to go down when they visit. When she predictably runs into Jinhyun. And you can tell her ex just fucking dragged her there to show Samsoon off right in front of Jinhyun to be like, she chose me. She chose me. Samsoon didn't say shit. She chose me. It's just the battle of the two assholes, I get. There's no redeeming fucking quality, bruh. Jinhyun, unfortunately being himself, tries to rile Samsoon up by saying he doesn't need a pâtissier that cheats on her boyfriend, and furthermore he's going to blacklist her off of every company that she could ever want to work at, and then, oh, you confessed your love to me but you went back to your ex. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror now. Does he know what he's saying? Does he know what's being reflected back at him? Like, I'm trying to see this as a, oh, he doesn't know he fucked up until you do the fucked up thing that he did to you. He's just fucking dumb! Jinhyun gets mad and leaves. As he ponders about everything they did together, but some way, somehow, Jinhyun bugs his way back into their meeting and finally claims Samsoon as his girlfriend by, you guessed it, forcefully dragging her outside the bar and her wrist, and it just pisses Samsoon off more. And on top of that, he then forces her to kiss him in the place where they first met, that being the men's bathroom. The very same bathroom from the first episode where she was crying over her cheating ex. But now I guess we get to be with cheating boyfriend Jinhyun. Guys, life can take amazing turns when you just let it come at you, bro. Just let life be and look at the beautiful things that can happen. And it doesn't even take Samsoon a second to snap back and be like, why the fuck are you kissing me? Like, you're cheating on your girlfriend right now. Just like my ex cheated on me. And then he's like, don't compare me to that bastard. You're worse. You're worse than him.
비교하지 마.
나도 똑같아. 아니, 더 악질이야.
Thank you, Samsoon. Thank you. Finally. His temper boils over, leading Jinhyun to scream in frustration that he likes her and he can't get her out of her head.
나서 미치겠어. 왜 내 머릿속에 들어와서 날 괴롭혀? 왜? 차라리 꺼져버리든가.
Wow, what a romantic thing to scream at me. Wow, but that's not gonna make me cry.
잘했다고 소리 질러. 네가 뭘 잘했다고?
Even Samsoon agrees, bruh. Samsoon tears up while wondering, why does this have to be so hard?
Breaking news!
This man is not worth any of this fucking trouble. Get out! Samsoon now questions, what are you going to do about Heejin? And he replies with his master plan being, I'm still thinking about it. No, thank you so much for answering that question. That gives me so much security in our relationship. So Samsun is like, you're standing here in front of me saying you like me and that you want me, but you don't know what to do about your girlfriend. Wow. Later, after we finally get some fresh air away from that bathroom, Samsun informs Jinhyun that she's finally changing her birth name, and he freaks the fuck out. Then demands her not to go through with it, with his convincing point being like, no, I like your name just the way it is. She attacks him with like, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do with my life when you can't even break up with your girlfriend? Then he's like, ugh, why do things have to be so hard, Samsun? Why are you doing this to me now? He blames her for making things complicated because she doesn't listen to him. I feel like a parrot. You made it this complicated.
복잡한 건 바로 너야.
Even Samsun agrees. Samsun now has an internal battle against her morals. On the one hand, she hates cheaters, just like Jinhyun is clearly exhibiting here, but on the other hand, she feels that this is the only man she'll ever come across again in her dating life, since nobody will want her at this age. That's because he manipulated you into thinking that. He told her no man would ever want to hold her, no man would ever like her, and then continuously ruined her fucking dates, but can't even break up with his girlfriend for her. He drilled that into your head, no homunculus, bruh.
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
I washed my hair. I washed my hair now. I think I deserve love. Okay. Heejin now meets with Samsun to tell her to stop making Jinhyun confused. Excuse me? Samsun clearly informs Heejin that I didn't do shit and I don't have to listen to you, as she also includes that this is practically her last chance at a relationship in life, stating that Heejin is still young, skinny, and rich, so there'll be plenty more guys in her life. And Heejin's retaliation is, at least you don't have cancer. Damn.
Please, I have cancer. Good luck. I got lice. That's cool. My grandma has cancer. I pray.
Samsun stands her ground and says, okay, I'm not gonna give up just because of your cancer. Controversial. Stating that Jinhyun is a grown man and he can make his own decisions at the end of the day. Are you sure about that? Then we skip to Samsun getting that money that she owes Jinhyun in the contract that she got from her sister by selling her apartment. Samsun informs her sister that Jinhyun likes her. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? And not to badmouth him any further, while her sister brings up the very valid point that he has not even broken up with Heejin yet. Good God, girl, get a fucking grip. As Samsun returns to Jinhyun to repay him the money from their broken contract, but rather than accepting the money like any normal fucking person, he decides to rip it up right in front of her face, which is an absolute huge fucking insult to her and her family, considering you know her financial situation. Rich bitch boy, you knew how hard it was to accumulate that money, and yet you just, doesn't matter to me. Then he tries to make this as like he did this out of love, telling her he ripped the money out of his love for her. And then once again demands her not to change her birth name. Can you think for one fucking second? Can you doink doink for one fucking second? He then commands her to not make things any more complicated than they need to be and tells her to stop talking. Oh my God, that just made my pussy wet. I love it when men do that.
Give him to me.
She calls him selfish and conceited. And just to add more fuel to the mix, Heejin decides to pop up. Heejin decides to enter the office, inevitably spotting Samsun there. We fast forward later into the day, where Heejin is clearly irritated and she leaves dinner early, then afterwards gets even more upset when Jinhyun can't seem to remember the precious spots where they used to spend time together years ago, as she then finishes him by saying, "Henry would never do this to me." You're just like him, aren't you? As Samsun once again in this drama tries to pick up the pieces after Jinhyun has ultimately shattered her, She picks up the pieces and goes on with her life once again by being endlessly disrespected by a man that's supposed to like her. While Jinhyun digs through the rubbish for the check that he tore up in front of Samsoon, he then proceeds to think about the 3 romantic things they've done in this series altogether. There's not much to reminisce, I'm sorry. In the final step of reinventing herself and forgetting all about Jinhyun, Samsoon decides to say, fuck it, I'ma climb Mount Hala my fucking self. Pedaling past her previous problems and terrible weather on Mount Hala. Go Samsoon, go! Go baby, go! Once reaching the peak, she exclaims her new and long-desired name for all to hear, while also tearing off everything in her life that has to do with Jinhyun on the peak of Mount Hala. What the fuck is that in the background? Oh my god, bro. At this point, this man must be fucking Beetlejuice or something. Anytime I say his name, once or twice, thrice even, pops up. I think about him, pops up. Hey! And when you want him to talk to her, he's like, oh my god, I'm so busy, I can only send you a 1-line message. But the second we don't fucking need him, he's like, Jinhyun has once again decided to follow Samsoon instead of apologizing, calling her, texting her. He's like, she wants me to follow her all the fucking way. I need a smoke break. I don't even fucking smoke. And bitch, we can barely see him in the back. Look at this Silent Hill ass fucking scene. Fucking Silent Hala. With Jinhyun here shattering any future dreams of Samsoon moving forward in life, he once again declares that Samsoon is forbidden to change her birth name. As she straight up says to him while on another brink of exhaustion and wave of tears that he's completely ruined her dreams. And I don't think you could ever say that to someone even jokingly. He now decides to sweeten the deal by stating he wants to rewrite their... He now decides to sweeten the deal by stating he wants to rewrite their contract and make it last 100 years. So Samsoon can be his girlfriend for the rest of his life. All the while, he still hasn't broken up with his girlfriend! Ah! You have one job. Why are you on side quest right now? He hasn't even broken up with Heejin, let alone told Heejin how he's been feeling. Well, you think we're dead ass gonna sit here and listen to you right now? Fuck off. He cracks out his backpack and feeds Samsoon some celebratory seaweed soup since it's her birthday. But that still does not fucking change anything I've said about him. The soup cannot change shit for me. As they climb down the mountain and head to the hotel for some hospitality and heat.
진짜 아파.
Don't ever show that to me ever fucking again. Don't ever do that ever again. They share a hotel room where he massages her leg from climbing. But nothing nice he does without a fucking price to ruin everything, as he decides to tear up Samsoon's name change document that she needs to turn in. No, guys, he's doing this out of love, not because he's controlled. No, it's out of love, because he loves her. Slap his coconut head looking ass. And in the hotel, he keeps trying to get freaky with her. Guess what? Well, he has a girlfriend. And I do not care if he is not emotionally intertwined with his girlfriend. If you have a girlfriend and she is under the impression that you are still together, it's fucking cheating. Samsoon is obviously reluctant to anything he proposes unless he breaks it off with Heejin. Gee, I wonder who's making things complicated now. Once home, Jinhyun is bombarded with voicemails by Heejin and feels guilty. I didn't even know that was possible. So the next step of his plan, Jinhyun now challenges Henry to various sports where Henry is crushing it. Go Henry! Go Henry! Go Henry! Since now Jinhyun is practically washed with incompetence compared to Henry. He just straight up beats him up because he can't compete with him. After the pool beatdown, while getting dolled up, Jinhyun inspects Henry and inquires him about his love for Heejin, where Henry confirms he does have clear feelings of love for her, while Jinhyun murmurs insults under his breath, cause he's enraged at the thought of letting Heejin go to another man. But it's like, shut the fuck up at this point. When Jinhyun meets at Heejin's apartment at night while she shows him the clothes she bought for him during the day, his heart starts to weaken for her, and while doing one final act of service for her by washing her feet, he finally spills the news about him wanting to end things with her. While wrapping up his heartbreaking news to Heejin, he throws in the excuse of, "Oh, we're getting old, and you're forgetting things about me." Meanwhile, Heejin was crying that he didn't remember the spots they used to hang out at, and he's upset that she doesn't remember a mole behind his ear or something. I'm not kidding. That is the excuse he pulled out of his ass instead of deadass saying, "I have fallen in love with another woman." He is fucking saying, "You're forgetting things about me. What about my mole?" Me bumba clap, me pussy clap. Heejin musters up what strength she has left in her heart and asks if their breakup has anything to do with Samsoon and if he loves her, to which he only replies with how much he likes being around Samsoon and avoiding the answer directly, causing Heejin to spiral even fucking further. He deadass breaks up with her and we only have 2 episodes left, bro. How am I... There's some shit you're supposed to do in like the 4th or 5th episode. Samsoon keeps trying to get in reach with Jinhyun, and surprisingly, we've never seen this before, as Samsoon keeps trying to get in touch with Jinhyun, then steps out to go to his apartment, only to get flashbacks of the porridge incident of when Heejin was there. Upon entering, she feels obligated to cook for Jinhyun since she can see what a sight for sore eyes he is after his breakup. Women will deadass fucking comfort you after you break up with your girlfriend that you cheated on her with. We are not meant to be on this planet with men. As he tries to seek comfort in her lap, only wanting to freak it shortly after, Samsoon is still completely reluctant to anything of that sort with him. They start to talk, and she remembers that he's her boyfriend and starts to list off a series of requirements she wishes to do with someone she considers her boyfriend. That doesn't involve freaking it. They continue to tick off her boxes as it comes down to some of the last remaining ones, but all of a sudden, Jinhyun decides to bitch when Samsoon simply wants to take a picture of them together for her phone. And as her final request, Samsoon reveals that her requirement is for someone to loudly and proudly declare their love for her in front of everyone, which surprisingly he does. But you don't want to take a picture with her? After that, Samsoon and Jinhyun look at rings together, as he calls her childish for wanting to do this. You're too old to be if anything, you're too old to be saying this bullshit. But ends up buying the ring because he keeps fucking smushing it down her fucking finger. Jump to them having fun further along their relationship. Jinhyun now prepares to meet Samsoon's mother that he's absolutely terrified of. Rightfully so, you've emotionally burdened her child. To lessen the blow, he arrives with flowers and a dog, a whole ass responsibility and bill, and all that prep actually pays off. I'm just kidding, I don't want to see him happy. I don't want to fucking see him happy. As her mother constantly disapproves of Jinhyun, guess what fucking trick he decides to pull out of his ass.
저 뱃속의 아기는 어떡합니까?
What about the baby?
한순아, 그게 정말이야? 어제 병원 갔는데 8주 됐더라고.
And Samsoon, why the fuck are you agreeing to this? And honestly, reasonable reaction. The scene carries on back to the table of a future son-in-law drink, where we break out the plum wine and hear her mother rejects even being served by Jinhyun, or to even cheers with him. She continues to dig further at him for not knowing how to do basic household chores, as she also learns about his job and family, and as stubborn as ever, Jinhyun can inevitably see that he's not making any progress with her and decides to, bam, what about the baby? Bam, what about the baby? Then we say, fuck it, karaoke time. I mean norebang. Norebang, norebang, norebang.
A few moments later.
I didn't know that plum wine was going to be that fucking good. I'll have what they're having. Just got a kick to it. Everybody wants kung fu fighting. No versus fast as lightning. Oh my god, all the honey's at the bottom. Whoever the cameraman is here needs a fucking raise. I felt like I was right there with them. After our festive fiasco, Samsoon's mother sneaks into Jinhyun's room and slides in some positive words about him while staring down at him Twilight style. Then we cut to the Samsoon family in the morning, gorging on a meal after last night's drinking. Insane events, bro. Last night was a movie. Here now her mother has nothing but praises for Jinhyun. But every time this man tries to be nice or some light is shed upon him, we know he's gonna fuck it up. Jinhyun gets called and notified about Heejin's emergency admission to the hospital because of her stressing over the breakup that's now been affecting her stomach. And I don't know why her emergency contact is Jinhyun. Henry, her certified doctor, is right there and has traveled all the way from America to Korea to be with her, so I don't understand. Maybe she put it years ago, but you would think they would change it by now. No? I mean, maybe because she was in America, but like, it's too convenient. Jinhyun rushes over because he obviously still cares about Heejin and abandons the family mid-meal. As Samsoon heads to the office to continue the month-long process of legally changing her birth name, she only manages to reach the building before anything could go wrong, as she's interrupted by a strange man that requests for her name and then ransacks her fucking handbag, ripping her name-changing documents into utter shreds. Police? Police? That reminds me of somebody I know. I wonder if he had anything to do with this. No, that possibly could. Yes, Jinhyun did fucking hire him to do this. She tries to call Jinhyun about this, only to have her calls declined by him as he waits for Heejin's slumber to end. This man is very avoidant, if you couldn't tell. Anything that derails his plans, he completely shuts off to her. We find out Heejin was also hospitalized because she was refusing to eat or drink anything for the past few days. And Samsoon still doesn't stop trying to get into contact with Jinhyun. Heejin finally awakes, and Jinhyun, shortly after a few words, invites her to stay at his apartment. Then, claiming that Samsoon would understand, before even asking her. He's saying that because he knows what he is doing is wrong. Basically what he's saying is like, Samsoon will understand, I'll manipulate her into thinking that it's okay. 'Cause you know this woman wants you, and she wants you so bad that you've already met her mother and her family. She is going to find any excuse for you at this point because you've also manipulated her into thinking that no other man would ever fucking want her. And she's already introduced you to her fucking family, so it's like, it would be utterly embarrassing if she was like, hey guys, he's back with his ex. Meanwhile, Samsoon is left in the dust to ponder her whole day away about Jinhyun, especially after what a celebratory night she had just before, just for him to up and leave and not pick up any calls or texts. This kind of reminds me of someone I know, but I can't put my fingy on it. Samsoon takes getting an answer out of Jinhyun a step further. Let me in, please. And reaches his dreaded apartment only to be greeted by Jinhyun having his arm wrapped around Heejin. They are punched with the silence of the situation, only for Jinhyun to tell Samsoon to wait outside like a fucking dog. while continuously wrapping his arm around Heejin. And we see Samsoon wait outside like a child that got kicked out of their parents' room. Jinhyun finally crawls out of his apartment like a bitch and tells Samsoon that Heejin has anorexia and refuses to eat, and that he refuses to leave her unsupervised for the night. This isn't your problem. Samsoon is like, what about Henry, her certified doctor that is practically trained to take care of her? Jinhyun says he'll return her to Henry tomorrow. No biggie. Clearly showing he cannot let Heejin go. And of course, Samsoon is the only rational one here while voicing her opinion on the situation, saying how she clearly doesn't like this, let alone approve of this. Feeling tossed to the side, she then forcefully enters his apartment and offers Heejin something to eat. And you can see here, she just wants to get the situation over and done with. She said, bitch, go eat your food, get out of my man's house. Samsoon grows more desperate as the clock ticks on, leading her to make up reasons to stay over at Jinhyun's place, but can clearly see she's doing too much, as she's making Heejin more uneasy. Samsoon acts like the only grown-up here, and sucks it up before leaving his place. After that, Jinhyun calls her to ask if she got home safely, and thanks her for everything. He's trying to sweeten the deal, basically. Samsoon's efforts don't stop at last night, as she wakes up at the crack of fucking dawn to whip it up in the kitchen for Heejin. She delivers the food to Heejin, who is clearly not willingly welcoming her into her apartment. Samsoon bargains with her by saying she's only going to leave until she sees her eat. Samsoon then explains that she too feels uncomfortable by this entire interaction, but doesn't want to see her sick. As Samsoon keeps persisting Heejin to eat something, the tensions start to bubble further, and Heejin gets up to throw away the porridge, then yanks Samsoon's hair. But before anything can form into a full-on fight, good old American white knight doctor certified Henry decides to show up. How the fuck did he get in? And he's like, ladies, please, ladies, stop fighting, ladies. We are then greeted with the trio warming up the ice between one another during a game of cards while Heejin receives an IV drip. Samsoon leaves, and Heejin tells Henry she wants to go back to the States and get away from all of this. Heejin's next step is in motion as she requests Jinhyun to accompany her to the States, excusing it by saying that she'd be too tired if she went alone. And of course he agrees to it without any second thought. Samsoon tries once again to go into the offices to change her name, but this time in disguise. But not to our surprise, she gets chased down again, but yet somehow manages to sneak on by into the offices, only to have another guard on standby expecting her, then ripping up her papers. Samsoon finally locates Jinhyun having a coffee with another woman in the hotel of the restaurant and automatically assumes it's a date. But it doesn't fucking help that he doesn't confirm or deny it. She's like, oh, interesting. And he's just like, come sit down. Enjoy the aircon. Have a cup of coffee, bruh. Only after she begs and whines for him to get up, he now manages to mention that, oh my god, do you know my business colleague? Gee, thanks. Back in the apartment, Jinhyun reveals that he's taking Heejin to the States, saying that he'll only be there a week. Remember that. Saying that he has to go for his friend. You mean your ex-girlfriend? She is only now your friend because you needed to dump her in order to date Samsoon. Because you can't have two girlfriends at the same time. So, no, she was never your friend to begin with. Therefore, she is not your friend now. Samsoon obviously refuses to let him depart to the States, and you fucking know, obviously he's gonna get mad about this. He gets mad at her for not understanding him, aka not getting what he wants. Then all of this arguing wakes up his niece in the other room, who enters the room crying and distraught while uttering her first words since her incident, causing her to be mute. And those words being, "Uncle, I hate you," while pleading for them not to argue. Jinhyun now takes back his statement on going to the States, saying he won't go. We know that's a lie. And Samsoon says that he would still go even if she didn't let him, and that's what's truly bugging her, along with how she feels that it's 3 of them living under the same roof instead of just him and her. Cut to the next day where they're both waiting for each other to text or call after their spat last night, only for him to message her to say, call me. Put down the fucking phone, I'm not. Shh. And obviously after receiving that message, she refuses to call him. Guys, what a happy, healthy relationship. So much communication.
We have 1 episode left.
Where has the fucking romance been? It cannot get much worse than this, can it? Samsoon visits Heejin one last time, as she rightfully so asks, why do you need Jinhyun to take you to the States? And she's like, you think he's gonna get back together with you after this? Huh? Heejin's response is that the memories you hold with the person are very powerful, and she just wants to bury her memories with him in their hearts. Cheesy ass fucking line! Heejin returns back Samsoon's empty dishes, saying she ate it all, and Samsoon says she cannot let Jinhyun go. Samsoon returns to her house where Jinhyun is parked waiting for her, obviously pissed off. What else would he do, bruh? He's only going to put in effort when he's pissed off, saying that she didn't answer any of his calls and she has to report to him where she is, where she goes, every hour on the hour. Oh my god, are you sick or something? Why are you at the hospital? Busy. This is coming from the man that turns off his phone at every slight inconvenience. If they got his order wrong at a restaurant, he would turn off his phone. You know what he's like? He's like the motherfucker that will post on his story a black screen, be like, nobody hit me up right now. After like, that's what he is. May the Lord forbid she doesn't answer his call one fucking time. She keeps asking him if he's really going to the States for only a week, and he doesn't reply. He doesn't answer the question. But alas, she grants him permission to go since this is just too much to deal with already. His method was, I'm gonna stress her out so much, she just has to say yes. Because I'm gonna go anyway. After granting him his wish, Jinhyun hugs her like a child that just received a fucking lollipop. Now that he got what he wanted. And on top of that, he's like, now I give you permission to change your name. Now I give you permission to change your name. Time passes on, and Samsoon turns in her name change documents to fulfill her biggest wish that has been haunting her since childhood. Then, fucking takes the documents and rips them up. For the sake of love. Would he do this for her? No, but it's for the sake of love. You do this all for a man. For a man that can't even call you to tell you that he's busy. For a man that can't even text you back when you need him to. For a man that can't even listen to your voicemails on time. Then we are informed that a week has gone by since Jinhyun has departed for the States, and he still hasn't returned. Let's fucking go. Make sure he never comes back. Samsoon, once again, tries to get on with her life without Jinhyun. 3rd time's a charm, people. And I feel, just by mentioning his fucking name, he's gonna pop up somehow. And then we fast forward to months after he departed for the States. No contact whatsoever. After supposedly telling us he only needed a week. Undeniably, Samsoon can't stop thinking about Jinhyun and all of the possibilities of what could be going on. Wow. I wonder who also got up and left for the States randomly. Can't seem to ring a bell. Later on, Samsoon can't help but to tear up when she suddenly bumps into the guy that she's been on a blind date on 2 times before, aka the only respectable man in this universe. This is either fate trying to put them together, or he's an absolute stalker for Samsoon. And anytime he sees Jinhyun go away, he's like, woo, that's my chance. He is more than happy to bump into her once again as he offers up a date with Samsoon, and she finally takes the plunge by saying yes. How cute, how nice. On her way to the date the next day, he's right behind me, isn't he? Never fucking mind, we can't have shit in this house. Jinhyun pops out of thin fucking air and demands Samsoon to get out of this car, as she tearfully pretends to not know who he is while her date tries to rescue her by driving away and carrying on with their date as planned. But alas, Jinhyun does his famous "let's follow that bitch." While in the cinema, her date stands up for Samsoon as he won't stop pursuing Samsoon, and he puts his foot down on this, but Samsoon succumbs to Jinhyun and flakes out on him. Outside of the theater, she decides to tell Jinhyun they've broken up while he says he absolutely doesn't know what he did wrong. As he follows her home with an echo of apologies trailing behind him, he wishes to enter her house and talk to her there, but she's too heartbroken to reason with him right now, while expressing how distraught and worried her family was for him this whole time with no contact. And I mean, yeah, you make a good impression of her family, then you pick up and leave, and then you don't contact them for months. They're gonna be a bit worried and sick. Jinhyun now ever so boldly claims he was sending her postcards this entire time while he was abroad. What in the notebook bullshit is this? And Samsoon doesn't believe him initially because of how drained she is by the exhaustion he's put her through. As usual, Jinhyun protests by ringing the doorbell, only to be greeted by her mother ambushing him with a salt shower as she returns the dog he gave. Jinhyun, the dog he is, waits outside with the dog he brought, while the family is inside, deeply saddened about the outcome. But then, unexpectedly, their neighbor pays them a visit with a box bursting with letters addressed to their neighbor's house, but somehow also being addressed to Samsoon. But after a mere examination and putting two and two together, you can tell Jinhyun fucked up Samsoon's address by sending it to her neighbors. While reading his letters, Samsoon's heart begins to flutter from his words, making her muster up the pride to go out one last time and require Jinhyun to recite her home address on the postbox. And he can see that he got it wrong. Samsoon directs Jinhyun to immediately go inside the house and apologize to her family for making them worried sick about him. His explanation includes that he stayed so long in the States for business reasons, by just staying in hotels because he's gonna own a hotel, so I gotta go to hotels, and wanted to explore more since this will be the last time he travels alone, implying that wherever he goes now, Samsoon will come with him. Also adding to that, he didn't call because he felt like he would miss Samsoon too much if he heard her voice. Shut the fuck up. Then finally apologizes for sending the letters to the wrong house. And her family forgives them. Yeah, you fooled them, bruh. You fooled them. You fooled them good. While at night in his apartment, Jinhyun tries to explore more than just the States. They have their cute tiny moment about him saying I love you to her. So now that they're getting all cuddly and together, she goes to send him to get condoms. And I guess everybody's fucking tonight because he cannot find a single pack. And guess who Samsoon gets a call from while waiting for her man to dick her down? Heejin. Even hundreds of miles away, she still manages to interject herself into this. You went all the way to America to pull yourself from this bullshit just to somehow get Samsoon's number. I don't know how you got her number. To call her and be like, what's up, buddy? But after being nice for a while, Samsoon shuts that shit down and is like, girl, we don't need to talk. Ever. And then we can see Heejin and Henry ended up together. Wow, what a surprise. Even when Heejin said to Henry's face, you don't make my heart race, but then in the same breath calls him gorgeous while biting her lip. Not to mention she also forgot that his mother was blind. It's safe to say you just ended up with what you got and not because you wanted it. Finally, Jinhyun manages to secure his XXL condoms for his magnum dong.
Whoa, whoops, oh! I dropped my monster condom that I used for my magnum dong.
And finally, Jinhyun secures his condoms for his XXL massive dong. For his XXL massive. With his. Why did I write this? And finally, Jinhyun secures his condoms for his XXX massive dong. With his XXL magnum condoms for his massive dong. And finally, I'm so tired of this. And finally, Jinhyun secures his XXL magnum dongs for his magnum. What the fuck? And finally, Jinhyun secures his XXL Magnum condoms for his massive dong. Samsoon is already knocked the fuck out by the time he comes back. He climbs into bed to watch over her while telling her about how lonely he felt during his trip. Later on in the next step of their relationship moving forward, Samsoon meets Jinhyun's grandmother and grandfather, and things go over much smoother than the first time she met his grandma. But not to our surprise, his grandmother is still not persuaded or accepting of her one bit. So his grandmother still doesn't accept Samsoon into the family, and Jinhyun says he'll give up the restaurant for her and get into the hotel business like his grandmother has always wanted for him, if she accepts Samsoon, but that doesn't seem to work. With his grandmother's opinions about Samsoon setting in stone, what move do you think Jinhyun will pull here? A. Throw a temper tantrum. B. Pull out the "what about the baby" card. C. Blatantly just storm out. Or D. Deals with this like an actual adult and stands on his business, claiming his love for Samsoon. B for baby! What about the baby? He pulls out the "she's pregnant! What am I gonna do?" Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. For the third time. I should have seen this coming. He pulls out that card while trying to hold back his bum-ass smirk, thinking like, I just got them. So his grandmother's rebuttal is, oh, if she's pregnant, we're going to the gynecologist. So now he is trying to dick her down 100% speed run. Samsoon wakes up from her dick me down session that lasted until sundown to be greeted with a dream of her dad in Jinhyun's lounge. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing here? They have another heart-to-heart where she explains how content she feels in life, but also how terrified she is of losing everything in a blink of an eye, then gets much needed parental comforting from him. As much time passes, alas, Samsoon still isn't pregnant, but stays true to herself and continues to still live her life as she so pleases, now with her heart overflowing with love, even though Jinhyun's grandmother is still against it all. And Lord, it hurts her to see with this man. May she please see the way, Lord, please. And at this point, it's like, as long as you're happy, I can't do anything about that. Ain't nothing I can do about that. Thank you for watching me complain. And what the fuck? Thank you for watching me complain. And maybe I'll see you next time. Bye.